Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So potentially before I get into the topic of the development, more things were circulating around the media yesterday in relation to Sporting Lisbon's Bruno Fernandes, and now reports are saying that City are on the brink of completing a summer move for Bruno Fernandes. It did potentially say that Manchester City have been in negotiations with Sporting Lisbon over around a 42-43 million deal for Bruno Fernandes. But what people are going to be saying, why can Manchester City get him for around 42-43 million pounds, and why would Manchester United have to pay around 85 million pounds? I think potentially Manchester City are willing to offload a couple of their players as part of the deal. So it's looking likely City are going to get a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. But at least in the last couple of weeks, Manchester United have been heavily linked with Bruno Fernandes, because obviously we do know we need some creativeness in that midfield. We need some depth in that midfield, and someone that can pose a goal threat, and someone that can score goals, and someone that can provide. And Bruno Fernandes, can do that, because he's proven that with Sporting Lisbon this season. I think he's scored 31 goals this season for Sporting Lisbon. I think he's provided about 16 or 17 assists, and he's only 24 years of age. He's Bruno Fernandes, and he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But I think Manchester City are seeing him as a replacement for Fernandinho. But I think Fernandinho is primarily a defensive midfielder, and Bruno Fernandes is predominantly an attacking midfielder. But Manchester United have been heavily linked to him. Reports were coming out from Portugal, was it a couple of days ago, saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has told Manchester United to go out and sign Bruno Fernandes for around 85 million pounds. But I think now he's been at Sporting Lisbon. I think this is now his second season with Sporting Lisbon. Of course, he's a former under Nice. He's a former San Pandora player, because when he was young, he had a lot of experience playing in Italy. I think his release clause is around 80 odd million, or is it 90 odd million pounds. He has got a contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But Manchester United, of course, at least in the last couple of weeks, have been heavily linked to him. Obviously, reports were coming out from Portugal saying that Manchester United have been in negotiations with his representatives over the summer move. But as I did currently say, it's going to be hard for us to attract players, to Bruno Fernandes' calibre, because obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for next season. And I think, Manchester City, would be much attractive option for Bruno Fernandes, because I think, we're at least 2 or 3 years off, Manchester City's level, and it's going to take at least a couple of them number of years, to graduate to Manchester City's level. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, still believes, we can get, the players, we can lure the players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer obviously has said, he's going to have his final say on our summer transfer plan. What players come in, what players, depart Manchester United in the summer. Obviously, we're looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the club. We are expected to orchestrate a big summer cut. I think up to at least 5 or 6 players, could be leaving Manchester United this summer. But we are in a bad vein of form, and we do need to rebuild in the summer. And of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. He reportedly is going to get a spending spree of around 250 million pounds this summer. Obviously, we do know that Manchester United are looking to get a director of footballing. Want to hire a director of footballing, so we do need a structural change at the club. That's obviously getting a director of footballing, and there has been quite a few names mentioned, who could fill that director's role at Manchester United. But we've got to sort this out, before the start of next season, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, is going to need backing this summer. But there's quite a few targets on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda. He's emphasising interest in quite a few young upcoming players. But yeah, we have been in a bad vein of form. We've only won 2 of our last 11 games, I think, in all competitions. And you can blame. The majority of the blame is on the players. You've got to question the mentality of the majority of the players. They've got to take responsibility. Based on their poor performances. Some of the blame, does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because he's starting now to get his team selections wrong. His tactics are very, very questionable. So you can blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that aspect. Some of the blame, of course, does stem from Ed Woodward. A lot of Manchester United fans want Ed Woodward out of the club. But potentially, yeah, I've witnessed bad times as a Manchester United fan, don't get me wrong, and I even witnessed a couple of bad times under the Alex Ferguson era, but not very, very often, because we had 20 odd years of success under Alex Ferguson. But I've never witnessed always bad, to this extent, of what's going on now with Manchester United. And we do know we've been playing catch up at least for the last 5 or 6 years. Since Ferguson's retired, we've had different managers with different philosophies. A lot of money's been invested into the club. I think we spent over £700 million £100 on players. As I said, we've seen players come in, we've seen players leave, and I just don't know what's gone wrong, to be quite honest, because it just seems to have all gone wrong since he's got the job permanently. Because reflecting back when he was the interim manager, in his first 3 months, the results were good, the performances were good. Solskjaer were getting the best out of these group of players, and he exceeded expectations. But obviously now he's got the job permanently. As I said, it's a 3-year deal, and he's got to meet them expectation levels in this 3-year period as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I still believe he can elevate this club forward, but it just depends. We've got to see who we can bring in to the club in the summer. But it's looking likely now, as I said, we've missed out on Bruno Fernandes. We've missed out on Bruno Fernandes because I think City are on the verge of getting him, because City, I think, are willing to offer 1 or 2 of their players as part of the deal. So it is a players plus cash deal. This is why City are going to get him for around 40 odd million pounds. But yeah, we've been interested in quite a few midfielders, because it's looking likely Paul Pogba's going. It's looking likely Paul Pogba's going. Herrera's going. Matic for me isn't good enough. We need a centre defensive midfielder that's fast and tenacious. So I think we need 3 new additions in that midfield. If I'm going to be really honest with you. But yeah, guys, there has been reports coming out in the last couple of days. I do want to give you an update on. There has been reports in the last couple of days, stemming from the Italian press, saying that reportedly Manchester United have opened up negotiations with Juventus over the potential move for Paulo Dybala. I think the fee is reportedly around £85 million. Paulo Dybala is 25 years of age. Of course, he plays for Juventus. I think Manchester United have been linked with him in the past, but I think the majority of Manchester United fans, wouldn't like to see him come in. Paulo Dybala, because a lot of United fans have got reservations about him. He can score goals, can Paulo Dybala, but this season he's enjoyed a very difficult time with Juventus, because obviously since the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo, he's found game time very difficult this season as Paulo Dybala. But yeah, Manchester United have been linked to him in the past, and if Manchester United were to get a deal over the line for him this summer, this summer, obviously would identify him as a potential replacement for Lukaku. But I think there was a lot of talks a while back, if I'm right, saying that there could be a potential swap deal involved. Swap deals are very rare, to the highest level of the game. But there was talks a while back of, there was talks a while back of Lukaku and Paulo Dybala, potential swap deal, because we do know that Romelu Lukaku is actually, linked with a move to Italy. And I think from Lukaku's perspective, he's keen on making the move to Italy, because he was talking a while back about Italy, his dream of playing in the Serie A. I think Man United are considering, sanctioning Romelu Lukaku off this summer. But as I did say, if we can sanction Lukaku off this summer, if we can sanction Paul Pogba off and all that, that will help us with our transition, and it will help us with our rebuilding process. And obviously, we'll cash quite a lot more money in. As I said, we're going to get around £250 million spending spree this summer, so I think we could get at least £130 million for Paul Pogba. Lukaku, we could maybe get around 70-80 odd million for him. So you could say we could get around £200 million, just for Pogba and Lukaku. But Lukaku is heavily linked to a move to Juventus. I think Inter Milan have also been linked. I think AC Milan have also been linked with Romelu Lukaku. But Lukaku's enjoyed a very difficult second season with Manchester United, because we know mainly that Rashford is first choice ahead of Lukaku. Lukaku was good in his first season for Manchester United. He scored 27 goals in all competitions in his first season at the club. But this season he's failed to replicate that as Lukaku. And for me, Lukaku hasn't got the capabilities, to play to the highest level. He hasn't got the capabilities, to play to the highest level as Lukaku. And he's a big game bottler, and his first touch does concern me, so I have got reservations about him. I know Manchester United paid £75 million for him, plus 15 million in add-ons, which had risen the deal to £90 million. I think he's got 3 years left in his contract. He's on about £250,000 a week, but he's well Premier League proven. He has got a good pedigree in the Premier League as Romelu Lukaku. He's got a really good pedigree in the Premier League, but as I did say, I just don't think he's got the capabilities, to play to the highest level. And I think his agent revealed a while ago his future is very open. So I think Man United are considering getting rid of him this summer, and I think he has sustained a couple of injuries this season. I think he's now out with a hamstring injury. Is Romelu Lukaku, so there has been reports that he could be leaving this summer, and obviously we could identify Paulo Dybala as a potential replacement for Lukaku. But I think we need a striker anywhere, because obviously the likes of Martial and Rashford obviously not reliable enough yet. They haven't graduated to that level, and they're not reliable enough, as I said, to deliver us them goals that we do need. So I think we do need a striker without a shadow of a doubt, and especially if Romelu Lukaku leaves. But Lukaku's heading into his prime. He's 25 years of age. He's actually the same age as Paulo Dybala, is Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, I think we are going to get rid of him in the summer. But we do potentially know the club's #1 priority target is obviously, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. Now, Manchester United have been linked to him, for a long time. I think it's going to be extremely difficult for Manchester United, to get a player of Jadon Sancho's, calibre, because a player of Jadon Sancho's calibre, wants to be in a Champions League football. But Man United have been linked to him for a long time. I think it would cost Manchester United around £100 million to get him. And maybe some people are saying, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because there's quite a few players out there for a reasonable figure. But we've got to get the right recruitment this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy is extremely very poor. But I do think it's going to be extremely difficult for us to get Jadon Sancho. And Jadon Sancho, is obviously a former Manchester City player, so he's had experience of playing in the Premier League. Obviously now he's been fantastic in his couple of years with Borussia Dortmund, and I'd love us to get a player of his quality and calibre. But I think if he was to make a return to the Premier League, I think it would create a better platform for Jadon Sancho. But Manchester United, of course, have been heavily linked to him, and obviously one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities, of course, is to get a right winner into Manchester United, because we definitely need a right winner. And I think if Jadon Sancho was recommended to come in, I think he'd blend in very well in our attacking line, alongside the likes of Rashford and Martial, if he was to come in. But he's been actually, the club's #1 priority target is Jadon Sancho. As he updated you yesterday, there's going to be a lot of players, I think, leaving Manchester United this summer. Now, I think Anthony Martial has been added onto that list, because reports were coming out yesterday. I think the reports coming out about last week as well, that reportedly now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ready to sanction Anthony Martial off, because I think reportedly Anthony Martial has infuriated Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is reflecting on Anthony Martial's bad attitude in training. Of course, Anthony Martial hasn't played in the last couple of games, didn't even get named in the squad against Huddersfield. I think it did say report, was he injured or something like that, I don't know. Didn't play against Chelsea, but was named in the squad, but didn't play against Chelsea. But Anthony Martial's performances have been really poor, at least in the last couple of months in Manchester United, and he was in really good form earlier on in the season, and he's failed to replicate that at least in the last couple of months as Anthony Martial. So reportedly now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's lost patience with him, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is listening to offers for Anthony Martial this summer. Anthony Martial is 23 years of age. He's still got immense talent. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, but now he's into his 4th season. I think Manchester United got him from Monaco back in 2015. I think Manchester United paid I think we got him as a 19-year-old. Manchester United paid I think we got him in a deal worth around £36 million, rising up to around £57-58 million, based on goals and achievements. So potentially, Manchester United got Martial in 2015, but I think there was a lot of rumours going on about it last summer that when we had Jose Mourinho, I think Jose Mourinho actually wanted to sell Anthony Martial off, but I think Ed Woodward had blocked it from actually materialising. So obviously Martial remained at Manchester United. Obviously Manchester United give him a new 5-year contract in January, so he did sign a new long-term deal. But when Martial first joined, he was in really good form, was Anthony Martial in his first season with Manchester United. But at least in the last couple of months, his performances have been way below par, so he could be added onto that list with the other players that are potentially leaving Manchester United. And so definitely, Martial as well, has actually, lost his place in the team, most recently. Solskjaer has gone with the likes of Lukaku and Rashford ahead of Anthony Martial, so he could be going in the summer, according to what the reports are saying. I definitely think Alexis Sanchez needs to be leaving the club in the summer. I heard reports were coming out the other day saying that Manchester United were willing to pay half of his wages off, to sanction him off this summer, Alexis Sanchez, sorry. Because Sanchez is on around £400,000 a week at Manchester United. Is it around £400,000 a week? Doesn't really get played much. I know he got a rare start against Huddersfield, did Alexis Sanchez, but as I did say, he's no longer playing to the highest level anymore. Doesn't really have a future at the club. I think now reports are saying that Sanchez has sustained another injury. I think he has sustained an ankle injury as Alexis Sanchez, but I think we're willing to pay half of his wages off, so we can get rid of him in the summer. Because there won't be many teams out there, of course, that can afford to pay his current wages off. But he's been inconsistent when he's played for Manchester United. He's been very inconsistent, and he has sustained quite a few injuries, and that's not good enough for a player that's the highest player at the club, the highest player in the Premier League. So I think he's going to be on his way out. He's 30 years of age now, and he has lost that yard of pace. So I think he's on his way out the club. Juan Mata, going on about Juan Mata, I think he's done well in his last couple of games for Manchester United, because obviously he's played in the last 2 games, but he's still obviously not first choice Juan Mata, but he has played in his last couple of games. But Juan Mata is no longer playing to the highest level anymore. He's 31 years of age. Don't get me wrong, about Juan Mata. He's done well in his last couple of games, but he's 31 years of age now. He has lost that yard of pace. Don't get me wrong, he's been a good servant to Manchester United. But he's a player for me now that can't play a full 90 minutes, Juan Mata. But, he has fulfilled that number 10 role in his last couple of games, very, very well, Juan Mata. But he's no longer playing to the highest level. There has been talks at Brighton are linked with Juan Mata. He did say Brighton are willing to offer him a 2-year contract, to persuade him to stay in the Premier League, because he has been in the Premier League a lot of years now with Juan Mata. But yeah, he's been a good servant to the club. This is his 5th season at Manchester United. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions. I think he's scored about 50 odd goals. But he's, all, in total, he's been in the Premier League about 7-8 years. This is obviously including his 2.5-3 years he had with Chelsea, of course, when he was a lot younger. There's also been talks that he could make a return back to Spain, because he had a lot of experience of playing in Spain when he was younger, Juan Mata, with Real Madrid and Valencia. But I think Man United are willing to offer him a new 1-year extension. So whether we've come to an agreement to get him it or not, I do not know. But for me, I think he's going to leave in the summer, even though I wouldn't want him to, because I still think he's a very, very consistent player. But of course, he's aging up now. He's 31 years of age. But as I was saying, so we do need a couple of additions in that midfield. We definitely need a couple of additions in that midfield, because obviously we know that Paul Pogba is probably going, Herrera's going and all that. So we do need a couple of additions in that midfield. And I know we've got the likes of Fred. When he's played, he's looked quite impressive. Fred, I know he hasn't played in the last couple of games, but in the games he has been playing, he has stepped up to the plate. He's the right solution at the moment. I don't know if he's the long-term solution, because I don't know if he's got the capabilities. And same with McTominay. Scott McTominay is only very, very young. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. And I think McTominay, when he's played, he's been very, very impressive as McTominay. But again, I don't know if McTominay, has got the capabilities to get us to where we want to be. So obviously, this is why we need a couple of additions in that midfield. I also think we need someone box to box. But yeah, we do need a couple of additions in that midfield. So as I updated you about Bruno Fernandes, so it looks like we've missed out now on Bruno Fernandes, as I said earlier on in the video. There has been a lot of talks about Benfica's João Felix. Now, it has said Manchester City are also interested in Benfica's João Felix. And Manchester United, I think, have been linked with João Felix at least in the last couple of months. Man United have been scouting him, reflecting on his fantastic performances this season for Benfica. He can score goals, he can provide. He's only 19 years of age. I don't think he's yet made his senior debut for Portugal. I think it's only his first season in the senior squad with Benfica, but he's been very, very impressive. Reportedly, he's got a buyout clause around £100 million. I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder, but you can play him as a winner. You can also play him as a striker. I think he's attracted interest from Liverpool as well. I think there's been a number of teams interested in João Felix, but he has been a potential Manchester United target. And reports were coming out the other day saying that it could cost Manchester United around £150 million, for Bruno Fernandes and João Felix. But as I said, it's looking like now we have missed out on Bruno Fernandes, but we are still linked with Benfica's João Felix. But he's 19 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him, so he's been a potential Manchester United target. We do know there's been a lot of talks about West Ham's Declan Rice, and I really, really like Declan Rice. He's a very, very good player, Declan Rice. He's been at West Ham now a number of years. He's been in the senior squad, for quite a few years, and he knows about the Premier League. He's Premier League proven, of course, learnt his trade in the Premier League. Initially, when he was a lot younger, obviously he began his he was in Chelsea's youth setup. I think he joined Chelsea's youth setup at the age of 7. He was actually in Chelsea's youth setup a number of years, and then he actually got axed off at the age of 14 in Declan Rice. And since he's gone to West Ham, he's grown, developed and flourished fantastically well, and his performances have been very, very impressive. I think he's primarily a defensive midfielder, is Declan Rice. I think he's primarily a defensive midfielder, but you can also play him as a centre-back. But as I said, I think he's mainly a defensive midfielder, is Declan Rice. But his performances this season have been very, very impressive under Manuel Pellegrini. I think he's got a contract with West Ham till 2024. What he signed back in I think he signed it back in December of last year, but I think he's valued at around £50 million. So I think if he were to come to Manchester United, I think he'd blend in very, very well in our midfield. So there has been talks about him going on, and he's only age 20 as well, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's one of England's youngest upcoming talents, so there has been talks with Declan Rice. Other potential midfielders, Manchester United have been linked to it. We do know, obviously, there was a lot of talks about. There's been talks going on about Everton's Idrissa Gueye, who Manchester United have showed an interest in. Obviously, there's been talks of Atletico Madrid's Saul Niguez. We know we could emphasise him as a replacement for Ander Herrera. Saul Niguez is 24 years of age, and Saul Niguez has never played in the Premier League, but I think he's played the entirety of his career in Spain with Atletico Madrid. Saul Niguez is 24 years of age, and I think he's gone on to make like 200 competitive matches, for Atletico Madrid. I think he's got a release clause reportedly of around 128 million, but he can play as a defensive mid, he can play as a central mid. I think he can play as a defensive mid, he can play as a central mid. You can put Saul Niguez on the right hand side, so he is versatile. I think it also said that Manchester City were interested in Saul Niguez, so there has been talks about him. I think there was reports going out about that quite a few weeks ago, saying that Manchester United were interested. But yeah, we definitely need a couple of additions in that midfield, because obviously it's looking likely, Paul Pogba is leaving the club. Obviously, as you heard a couple of days ago in the media, saying that Manchester United want around £160 million for Paul Pogba. Reportedly, Real Madrid are not willing to pay £160 million for Paul Pogba, because I don't think Real Madrid can afford to pay £160 million for Paul Pogba. But it did potentially say Manchester United are demanding Toni Kroos and Rafael Varane in exchange for Paul Pogba, if Man United are willing to do any business with Paul Pogba. But I still think we can get at least around 120, 130 million pounds for him. But Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to the 160 million pounds for Paul Pogba. But he's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, Zinedine Zidane is emphasising his targets. For this summer, I think he's going to get around 300 million this summer. Is Zinedine Zidane, but I think he's identified his top two targets, and that's Paul Pogba and Chelsea's Eden Hazard. But yeah, Paul Pogba wants to go to Real Madrid. Obviously, obviously he was talking a lot about Real Madrid quite a few weeks back, and obviously that just indicates that he's intending on leave. He's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England with Manchester United, and he's intending on making the move to Real Madrid. But obviously Paul Pogba last year was heavily linked with a move to his former club Juventus. He was also linked with a move to Barcelona. But I think Paul Pogba's actually notified his Manchester United teammates that he's intending on leaving the club this summer. But yeah, Manchester United, I think, have been in negotiations, of trying to get Paul Pogba a new contract. He's still got over 2 years left on his deal with an option of a further year, so call it 3 years. And I think Man United have been in negotiations of trying to get Paul Pogba a new contract at the club. But obviously, we haven't come to an agreement to get him a new contract. There were reports coming out a while back saying that Man United were willing to offer him the captain's armband on a permanent basis, to convince him to stay at the club, Paul Pogba. But yeah, I think for a number of weeks now, his agent Marliola has been in the process of trying to find Paul Pogba a new club, and arguably he's still one of the best midfielders in the world. But maybe Paul Pogba at Manchester United is not playing a monster world-class players, and this is ultimately what probably Paul Pogba wants. But yeah, I still think we can get around at least 120, 130 million pounds for him. But from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perspective, he's been talking with Paul Pogba, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists that Paul Pogba, still will be at Manchester. He thinks he'll still be at Manchester United next season, but he can't guarantee out. But I think he's going to be going in the summer. Is Paul Pogba, and if we can get at least 120, 130 million pounds from him, we could get two players with that money. But yeah, maybe a player Paul Pogba's calibre, wants to be up there playing to the highest level, wants to be up there competing and challenging. Of course, Manchester United are not doing that. So maybe we are demanding at least one of Real Madrid's players in return if we are willing to let Paul Pogba go. But I think we want around 160 million pounds for him. Reports were also coming out saying that Real Madrid obviously are not willing to match his £290,000 a week wages, so it did actually say Paul Pogba would have to take a pay cut, to go to Real Madrid. And there was talks saying that Paul Pogba had allegedly agreed a £10 million a year deal with Real Madrid. So yeah, I think he's intending on going there in the summer. So obviously, if we can get 130 million pounds from at least, we can get two players there with that money. So it's looking like Paul Pogba is going. Potentially, we do know one player that's going there for certain, and that's obviously Antonio Valencia. Antonio Valencia, this is now his 10th season at Manchester United. He has made over 300 appearances in all competitions for the club. Obviously, he's won everything here domestically. He won the St Musgrave Player of the Year award back in 2012. But initially, he's lost his place in the team. He's been out for the majority of this season. With injury, I think he's been out with a calf injury. As Antonio Valencia. Are Manchester United willing to give him a farewell appearance on the last game against Cardiff? Maybe we should give him a farewell appearance, because we know he's leaving the club this summer when he comes to an end of his contract, Antonio Valencia. he's leaving on a free transfer this summer. I don't know where he's going. There were talks that he could be going to the MLS, but we do know he's definitely leaving Manchester United this summer when his contract expires. So obviously, we're going to need a replacement for Antonio Valencia. We've been interested in quite a few right backs. Of course, Ashley Young. I don't know why Ashley Young. I don't understand why he was playing against Huddersfield, and why. This is why I say some of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics are questionable. Why is he playing Ashley Young on a regular basis? Ashley Young is past his sell-by day. He's been here now, 8 years, Ashley Young. Don't get me wrong, I've admired his fantastic career as a Manchester United player. Really, really good, when he was younger, because he was a good winner, back in the day, Ashley Young. But for me, he definitely needs to be dropped in the Cardiff game. And Ashley Young, has been here about 7-8 years. I think he's made over 300 appearances for the club in all competitions. But he's past his sell-by day. Again, bad mistake for Manchester United, giving him that new 1-year extension. But yeah, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young. And I think, Diego Dalot, he's a right back. You can play him in more of an advanced role, more of an attacking position, like we have done a couple of times. But Diego Dalot's still very, very young. He's 19 years of age. He's 19 years of age, or is he 20 years of age, should I say. We got him last summer from Porto for around, 19 million pounds or something. But I think, we do need a cover-up to Diego Dalot at that right back position. And a lot of Manchester United fans, would like to see, Aaron Wan-Bissaka come in. And, he's been linked with a move to Man United. But I think recent reports came out saying that he's committed to Crystal Palace. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, from his own perspective, is intending on spending at least one more season with Crystal Palace. And he's only been in the Crystal Palace senior squad for 15, 16 months now. I think he's going to make 40 first team appearances for Crystal Palace. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think, is valued at around 35, 40 million pound. And for me, I think he'd be the perfect successor, to Antonio Valencia. But I don't see us getting him this summer, because I think he's fully committed to Crystal Palace. And there was talks about Thomas Meunier a while back as well. There were a lot of talks about him. Was it about 2 or 3 weeks ago? Obviously, Thomas Meunier is an experienced fullback. Thomas Meunier, I think is predominantly a right back, but he can play in other positions, so he is versatile. But Thomas Meunier's got goals in him, he's got assists in him, he's been at PSG a number of years. Reports are coming out saying that it could be available for around 20 odd million pounds this summer, could Thomas Meunier. It did say the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea were also interested in Thomas Meunier. But yeah, I think he'd be the right candidate for Manchester United, Meunier, if he was to come in. But yeah, he's 27 years of age, as I said, he's highly experienced. I think he's tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. So yeah, I think he's going to be available for around 26 million pounds this summer. But I think he's only got about 12. I think he's just got over a year left on his contract with PSG. But there were talks about him quite a few weeks back. So there has been, we have been interested in quite a few right backs. But we need a central defender, and we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. And I know a lot of Manchester United fans would like to see Koulibaly come in, but as I did say again, a player of Koulibaly's calibre wants to be in Champions League football. Maybe some people may think Koulibaly is actually a waste of money, but Manchester United have been long admirers of him, and we do know if he is for sale, he's going to cost Manchester United at least around 100 or 110 million pounds. So Manchester United, of course, are going to have to pay him a world record fee for Koulibaly. But yeah, Manchester United have been heavily linked to him, because we need someone to come in who can address our defensive deficiencies. Koulibaly, for me, would be the right candidate. He's never played in the Premier League, but he's been fantastic in his number of years with Napoli in Italy. I think this is now his 5th season with Napoli. He has made over 200 appearances in all competitions for Napoli as Koulibaly. But I think, Man United were heavily linked in January. We had 3 bids turned down for him in January. We were heavily linked last summer, but obviously, we didn't come to an agreement to get him last summer. So I don't really see us getting Koulibaly, to be quite honest with you, even though Man United have been heavily linked with him. But credit to Lindelof, his performances this season have really, really improved as a Manchester United player, Victor Lindelof. So I credit Victor Lindelof. But as I did say, he struggled in his first season, did Lindelof, but he's really settled in this season. But we need someone that can partner alongside him, because we need a world-class central defender, because we haven't had one, since we had the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand, who were a great centre-back partnership under the Alex Ferguson era. So yeah, we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof, and Koulibaly, would fit the Manchester United agenda, if he was to come in. But from my own perspective, I don't really see us getting him. But yeah, and there's we've been linked to Toby Alderweireld. Looking at Toby Alderweireld, he's a much cheaper alternative, to the likes of Koulibaly and the Rafael Varane and all that. And Toby Alderweireld, as you all know, is available for £25 million this summer. He's well Premier League proven. He knows the Premier League inside out. He's been at Tottenham a number of years. Obviously, last year with Tottenham, I think was it. I think it was in January, sorry, Tottenham activated a 12-month extension and included this 25 million release clause, based on Toby Alderweireld's refusal to sign a new contract with Tottenham. But Manchester United been heavily linked with him, and I think Man United were heavily linked to him last summer, but obviously, we couldn't come to an agreement to get him. But he's 30 years of age now, he's Alderweireld. I have got reservations about him. He has lost that yard of pace, and he's not in the same calibre or level as the Koulibalys or the Rafael Varans and all that. But looking at it, he's going to be Toby Alderweireld is going to be a much cheaper alternative. So he could possibly, be one of our first signings that comes to Manchester United this summer. So we have been also linked with him. Talking about Rafael Varane, I don't think Rafael Varane will leave Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid are reluctant to let him go. Even though I really like Rafael Varane, nearly heading into his prime. He's only 25 years of age, and it's remarkable what he's achieved Rafael Varane as a 25-year-old. Rafael Varane has been Real Madrid the majority of his career. He's been there about 8 years. He's won 15-16 major honours, but he's an absolutely fantastic central defender. He reads the game well, shows that ability to power from the back. His defensive abilities are very, very good. He's very, very good in terms of an attacking intent as well. So his physical attributes are absolutely fantastic indeed. And he's got a release clause of around 429 million in his deal with Real Madrid, in his current deal with Real Madrid. But even discarding the release, even if Real Madrid weren't demanding his release clause to be triggered, he's still going to cost you well over £100 million in Rafael Varane. But yeah, I don't see Rafael Varane leaving Real Madrid because I think Real Madrid are reluctant to let him go. I think he's got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022. But yeah, I don't really see us getting Rafael Varane. But we have been linked with him, most recently. We've also been linked with Rafael Varane in the past. But I don't see us getting him, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, we've been linked with quite a few central defenders. And obviously, as I said, I think the likes of Marcos Rojo's on his way out of the club because he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Man United. I also think Eric Bailly is possibly going to be on his way out because for me, I think Eric Bailly is too injury prone. He's sustained another injury most recently. And Eric Bailly's found game time very, very difficult this season as Eric Bailly. So I could possibly, see him going in the summer, especially if a new centre-back is recommended to come in. I think Darmian's also on his way out of the club as well. Darmian's enjoyed a very, very difficult time at Man United. I think we can cash in for Darmian this summer because Man United have triggered that extension. So if we can get rid of him this summer, we can cash in. Maybe we could get around 25-30 million pounds as well, for maybe Darmian and, Rojo. I think, Phil Jones needs to leave the club as well. I think, combining Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, I do think Smalling's better than Phil Jones, but I've still now got reservations about Smalling because Smalling's aging up. So is Phil Jones, but Phil, it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving Phil Jones and Chris Smalling new long-term contracts at the club. But yeah, Jones has been here, 8 years, Chris Smalling, I think this is Smalling's 9th season now at Manchester United, and Smalling, I think, has made over 300 appearances in all competitions. Jones and Smalling have obviously, won everything here domestically. But as I did say, they're not good enough to represent Manchester United. This is why I said we need a world-class central defender, and that is very, very essential indeed. But obviously, looking at the positions where Manchester United need to strengthen up, we definitely need a right back, we need a central defender, we need a couple of additions in midfield, we need a right winger, we need a striker, and looking at it, if De Gea leaves as well, we're going to need a replacement for David De Gea. So I think we've got to at least bring at least five or six new additions to the club this summer. Whether De Gea stays or goes or not, I do not know. Looking at it likely at the moment, he's going to be leaving because obviously Manchester United have not yet come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract at the club. De Gea's been, I've admired his fantastic career. He didn't do too much. He did quite well against Huddersfield. He made some good, decent saves. But obviously, before the Huddersfield game, he was making quite a lot of costly errors. Was De Gea, but we have not yet come to an agreement to get him a new contract. And I think that he did say De Gea was demanding around £350,000 a week from Manchester United. Man United were only willing to offer him around £300,000 a week. But De Gea has been heavily linked with a £90 million move to Paris Saint-Germain. I think it did allegedly say that PSG are willing to offer him around a £450,000 a week contract, and that's actually more than double of what he's currently on at the moment. In his current deal with Manchester United, he's on about £200,000 a week at the moment with Man United, but he's still potentially one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's been a fantastic servant here so far. He's 28 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Well, still got quite at least a few years ahead of him, should I say at least. But I think also Real Madrid have been long admirers of David De Gea, but he's won everything here domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 5 years. as David De Gea. So his performances over the years have been absolutely fantastic, and he's been here since the Alex Ferguson era. But if Man United can't come to an agreement to get him a new contract, obviously we'll want to cash in for him in the summer, this summer, rather than letting go on a free in the summer of 2020. So we don't know what's going on with De Gea yet, but if he leaves, we're going to need a replacement for him. But as I did say, the majority of this Manchester United squad, does need a reality check, because at the moment, they're not playing for the shirt, they're not playing for the club, we're lacking leaders in the team, and that's what's really concerning me. But I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for now, as I said. I know he hasn't really got the managerial pedigree, he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree, he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, not to the highest level anywhere, but I still believe he can take us forward, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So hopefully he can do that. But yeah, that's really everything to update you on today. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.